Never let a man tell you more than once that he doesn't want you. I remember the old folks used to say that. I remember the old folks, I don't know if y'all ever had that grandma, that auntie. She probably said, never let a man tell you more than once that he don't want you. And it comes in many formats. It comes in, if you don't like it, then why are you still here? If you're so upset, then why don't you just leave? It comes in a man trying to kick you out. It comes in all kind of form. I'm going to get into all of it. But if you ever had a man communicate to you that he did not want you, I promise you, sis, he was not playing. I know we say, well, actions speak louder than words. You don't want the actions to tell you that the man don't want you. The moment those words leave his lips, or he communicates that non-verbally, but if that's the message, at any point in time, you got to go. Ain't no more conflict resolution. Ain't no more explanation. Ain't no more communication. Ain't no more great debates. If that man tells you he does not want you, it's time to go. Some of y'all may remember I had actually started this conversation a couple of days ago. And then whenever, we had some tech issues, I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I ain't even just going to leave that where it's at. Just saw a video, made me mad all over again. See, first I got a question from a sister that watched one of my master classes. Well, I just saw a video. This dude played a prank on his girl. I guess they was living together, whatever. But he's like, I'm leaving, I'm gone. Breaking up with her as a prank to see her reaction. And I was so saddened by how much she fought this guy to not leave. Y'all, I'm not saying just be inhumane and not care if somebody wants to. It's going to hurt. It's going to be tough. I just want to make it clear from a man's standpoint that we don't get to the point of, I don't want you, if we actually do want you. That's not how we play. Y'all might get to that point where in that moment you so hurt, disheveled, upset, pissed off, frustrated that you might say something, but really you even misinterpret your heart. A woman is a bit different because y'all are a bit more emotionally connected, and sometimes you're connected to the negative emotions and you try to make sense of it, but men are not that way. That's why you got dudes, they'll fumble a woman and still be like, I want you, because the truth is they do want that woman, they just don't value her. But if a man ever says, I don't want you, and again, there's many different ways that a man is going to say that. I'm your big brother, so I got you. We're going to break it down. Let me put this here. Because if you over the age of 40, you shouldn't even be running into this no more. I did a free 5-minute video talking about how you could avoid this. Nonetheless, back to what I was saying. The sister that I was taught that inspired the conversation the first time, she was trying to, I guess, communicate to her man basically what he promised her in the beginning. That they was going to have a long, fruitful relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, why are you trying to communicate to him something that he promised you? She just thought that he lost sight of it whenever he said, I don't think that you're the one for me. That's what he said. I don't think that you're the one for me. And she kept trying to come back and debate. Y'all, I'm all for, words be lying, actions can kind of deceive, patterns really tell the truth. But if a person says they don't want you or they don't love you, you don't want the actions to start speaking on that. You want to take them at face value. And that includes, I'm not ready for a relationship. I don't, you know what? Let's just talk about that for a second, because a man can be quite deceptive if you're not the one to set the boundary, if you're not aware of what makes you vulnerable and believe in a man. A man may say those things because he's honestly not ready for a relationship. But if he thinks that he's dealing with a woman that's going to disregard that, and instead look to all of the feelings that she has based on what he does, therefore he can get relationship access and still give himself an out that he already told you he didn't want a relationship. There are men who will manipulate you for that reason. The same thing goes for, I just don't think that we're a good fit, or whatever. Now, if something has taken place, because I always like to try to be balanced. If you're in a relationship and you've done something wrong, you've betrayed this man. If any woman watching this, every one of y'all ain't always the victim. Some of y'all do wrong. So if you have truly hurt this man, I'm not talking to you. Because in that moment, or period, he could honestly be saying that, and that's just what it is. I'm talking about for the guy who, after he gets some usage of you, after y'all hit a hard spot in the relationship, he just says what's really on his heart. And it may not be, I don't want you. It may be, if you don't like it, then why you... Any man that's not willing to make an adjustment or a sacrifice in order to secure you in a relationship, that man don't want you. Sis, he don't want you. He's not that interested. There are men who have picked up and moved across entire oceans, like countries they traveled across, because it was going to secure that woman being in his life. But y'all be ready to cross the ocean for a man who won't jump over a puddle for you. That's a man that don't want you. If you're sitting here making it crystal clear what it is you need in a relationship, what security and safety looks like for you, what respect looks like for you in a relationship, and that man is absolutely just not budging, that man don't want you. And you don't need him to tell you more than once. You see, there's a difference between a man who's imperfect and a man who's not worth it. A man who's imperfect, you say something, you make it crystal clear, you stress the urgency, you're not playing no games, no ultimatums, you're just letting them know this is where I stand. He may not immediately be able to rise to that standard, but guess what you're going to see? You're going to see an effort. You're going to see some type of tangible change. You're going to see something. You're going to see something. But whenever you let this man know exactly what you need and he just basically look at you with a blank stare, figuratively speaking, like, what's your next move? Because I ain't doing nothing. That man don't want you. If I'm so bad, why don't you just, that man don't want you. He's not trying to better himself. I just want to keep it real with you. Again, I'm not saying any man that truly wants you is just going to go to, do everything perfect, be a knight in white shining armor, but you're never going to get a lack of effort from a man that truly wants you. And sometimes it is a situation where a man kicks you out. You ever dealt with a man, and some of y'all have been this woman, by the way. But again, I know that men and women are not synonymous. We're equal in value. We are supposed to be complementary in our functions. So it's a bit different with a woman. Unhealthy all the same. But if you ever been with a man that ran at the first sign of trouble, ran at the first sign of conflict, ran at the first argument, wanted to break up, threatened to break up, wanted to leave, wanted you to leave. That's a man that I'm going to be real. That's a man that don't want you. He's either wanting you to suppress how you truly feel, to lose confidence in you holding him accountable. He's wanting you to basically stay in your place. He's wanting you to stay off kilter, uncomfortable, unsafe in a relationship, so you're always chasing that carrot. He wants some type of control, but he don't want you. And I'm not even one to say like wanting you is the only thing that matters. Wanting you is the end all be all, but if you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. Because how can you even get to the point where he values you? How can you get to the point where he's truly prepared for you? Y'all know that's my 3-step ladder. If you watch my master classes, and you already know. Man, wanting you, that's the start. That's the easy part. Then does he value you? Thirdly, and most importantly, has he prepared for you? You can't even get to step 2 and 3 if that man don't even want you, or if he gets to a point where he don't want you. I'm going to tell you another way to know that man that wants you. If he ready to leave the moment that you gain some weight, if he ready to leave the moment that you get a different hairstyle, if he feel like he need to supplement with you, meaning, this should give him a pass to go out and get another woman because something has changed with you physically, period, really, that man don't want you no more. That's just what it is. And that's so tough because if you're a woman that loves genuinely, sincerely, you gave your all to this, you may have given your body to like your womb, like you may have given babies to this man. It's really tough to accept something like that. But the last thing you want is for a man to communicate that he don't want you, you to not listen, and then him to start yelling. Because once he start yelling, guess what? He gonna make sure everybody else hear it. If a man don't want you, and he's told you that in any kind of way, and you don't listen, he's going to start shouting it to the mountaintops. The disrespect is going to start getting blatant. There was a rapper, I don't even care to say his name, and he had these young ladies on live. Now, he's a rapper, and they in a whole different type of dynamic, I think polygamous or something like that. Anyway, he's dogging this girl out. Like on live, he wants everybody else to see him dogging this young lady out. And then it came to mind, everybody in the comments is getting upset with the dude. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, he's trash. I don't give him no pass. But this ain't the first time that he's talked to her like this. This ain't the first or second time. This ain't the third or fourth time. This man is basically saying, why you here then? You need me. He's saying some really degrading things, but I'm like, he said this already. He's just yelling now. Yelling in the sense where he wants it to express to other people. Now, not only does he want to try to teach you to accept his treatment, he wants to show everybody else what kind of treatment you'll accept. He wants to affect how everybody else sees you. Never let a man tell you more than once that he don't want you. that he's not willing to sacrifice, that he's not willing to put forth effort, that he's not willing to improve, that he's not willing to dig deeper or seek a third party and better understanding you or anything like that. Never let a man tell you more than once. Again, I always give this disclaimer. If it's something you've truly done to wreck this man, break this man, betray this man, this don't apply. And there are situations where a man wants you, but loses confidence in the relationship with you. That's also a different situation. He still don't want the relationship. You still don't need to move forward. But there are men who have preconceived notions of their values being inextricably linked to their money, and their money goes up and down. So if he ain't got no money, he may say, I don't need to be in a relationship right now. There are situations. That's a whole different conversation. I don't want you to attribute this to something it don't apply to, so I'm trying to be thorough. But if a man straight up does not see your value, you may be, you too clingy, you too this, you too that. This is what I taught my mentees, and this is why I love when I get to go deeper with my mentees. I said, it's 2 words. I'm going to give y'all the game I give my mentees. It says 2 words. Anytime a man says you're too this, you're too that, you're too, 2 words, it's going to change your life. You too clingy. You need to say, for you. Man, you talk too much. You do too much talking. For you. Man, you're getting too big. For you. You want to go out here, you think you all that, you always want to do something, you always on something, you do too much. I mean, yeah, for you. That'll change the whole game. Y'all, I have not gotten a bad review yet. You see, whenever you put that on them, because everybody ain't gonna see your value. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. You ain't gotta go and fight this man, mess up his car, get him fired from his job. You just gotta detach what he sees in you from what's there in you to see. That's all you gotta do. And there's nothing wrong with you making it clear to him that you understand. His inability to see your worth does not equate to a worth that you don't have. For you. Even as you think to yourself about the things, the criticism that this man is, blurted out at you, I don't want to do this and you're that, and nobody can, you don't, which is fine. I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too love a girl. I want to go too many places. It's too much for you. I'm too little for you. I want too much mental stimulation for you. My appetite for physical affection that's not always sexual is a lot. It's too much for you. I'm too loud for you. I'm too boring for you. Change the whole game. That's how you avoid a man being able to tell you more than once that he don't want you. You immediately recognize this is a him problem, not a you problem. Because again, that's step 1. That's the easy part. That by itself don't even qualify a man if he don't want you. But y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about. Y'all can be so intelligent, especially those of y'all who are a little bit older. You're well read. Whether you consume my content or somebody else's, like you have developed a certain level of emotional competence, and you're so excited for the power that can have in your relationship, and you want to deploy that, and you want to resolve conflict, you want to have the conversations, you want to this, that, and the other, but sister, it still takes 2 to tango. So you can't go in resolving all of this conflict with a man in which the real resolution to the whole conflict is to get him out of your life. You can't go do that. You cannot deploy all of those skills and tools and all of that stuff, and this ain't even the right work site. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. It takes 2. If that man's saying that he don't want you in any shape, form, or fashion, conflict resolution ends. Communication ends. It stops there. Oh, thank you. Thank you for revealing that to me. As much as it hurts, as much as you might feel your stomach, it just feel like your stomach and your back, your chest is pounding, your heart rate is up. Whatever the case may be, the moment he tells you he don't want you, immediately start shutting down all access that he has to how you see yourself, how you feel, how you think. His validity needs to go in the trash can. And honestly, again, for those of y'all who are over a certain age, you really don't have to put up with this. Now, the young lady that asked me this question, I want to say she was a little bit younger, but nonetheless, if you over the age of say 40, There's a certain way you need to be evaluating men now, period. If you're dating men over the age of 40, there's a certain way you need to be evaluating men and positioning yourself for men that you couldn't do when you was 20, but you can't use the same dating strategies. You can't use the dating apps. You can't use the going out. You can't use the same dating techniques at age 40 and up that you used whenever you was 20, 25, 22, 28, 30. You can't use those unless you want to continue the pattern of guys who cannot meet you or mentally stimulate you, or they're not ready yet, or they need more time, or they say things and they want to prank and they want to test you and try you. You can't use the same dating strategies and get a different dating result. If you're over the age of 40, you actually have an advantage. That's something a lot of y'all have been bamboozled out of thinking. You think because you're over 40, it's too late, you're too old. No, none of that is true. There's a major tweak you have to, as I said, it's major. The impact is major. It's actually really simple that you have to make in your dating. After the age of 40, you evolved, your dating strategy needs to as well. I talked about it. It's called a compatibility index. Too much to get into here. If you want more on that, I put the link down here. It's a maybe 5.5 minute video. Real quick. It's not even a master class, but I break down the one switch you need to make if you're over the age of 40. It's going to change everything for the type of man that you attract. And it's free, by the way. But I put the link down here if you want to watch it by the time we get off. Moral of the story is this. If that man telling you that he don't want you, sis, it's not nothing that you need to see actions or patterns to prove. It's not something that he needs to be convinced out of. It's not something that you need to be debating or reading a big old book to try and parse words and get a deeper understanding. Or no, he said exactly what he means, and he meant exactly what he said. You can take that to the bank. We may not know everything that's meant, but one thing we do know is who we want and who we do not want. If that man do not want you, there ain't nothing you need to be doing or nothing you need to be changing except the man that's in your face. But those are just my thoughts. You know me, internet brother. I got your back. So if you got value from this, if you got value from this conversation, man, hit the share button because we definitely need this one to spread because a lot of people who need it and a lot of people probably on your timeline, your friends, your family, is going to be blessed by it. And if you're over the age of 40 and you keep attracting the same type of man in a different body and face, same games, different player, there's one thing you need to switch in order to break that pattern. And you can do it starting today. I described it in the free video I put down here in the comments. I pinned it right here. Best free dating advice for women 40 plus. This is for those of y'all 40 plus. So if you're 20, 25, this one ain't gonna really help you. Just keeping it real with you. But those of y'all who are a bit more mature, you are more evolved. You have less tolerance for BS. You have less time to waste on men who ain't ready for a relationship right now. Hit that link. It's going to bless you. It's also in the caption or description or whatever. Just look for the link. Best free dating